Isaiah, Isaiah, Isaiah number 9, right? Isaiah number 9. You see the Isaiah, you see the numbers, the 9, Isaiah. For a child is born to us, a son is given to us, dominion will rest on his shoulders, and he will be given the name, the nature. And what is this nature he'll be given? Father of eternity and the Prince of Peace. He'll be given the name, the nature of a father and a prince. For what reason? In order to execute the dominion. What dominion? The dominion that's resting on his shoulders. The dominion that's resting on his shoulders. He's going to extend that, and he's going to perpetuate the peace, because he's the prince of it, right? Stuff is quite simple. We're drinking milk here. Let's see if we can get our focus back without having to stop the video this time. There it is. All right. In order to execute the dominion and perpetuate the peace. Of the throne and kingdom of David. Why? Because he's the prince of that peace. To secure it and sustain it through justice and righteousness, henceforth and forever. Now, forever, the zeal of the Lord of the armies will accomplish this. Accomplish what? Accomplish getting this dominion extended and this peace perpetrated, and securing it and sustaining it. The zeal of the Lord of the armies will accomplish this. But the Most High has sent that word to Jacob, and it has fallen on Israel. All the people know it, Ephraim and the inhabitants of Samaria. But what happened? What do they say? But they say, we're in pride, in the arrogance of their hearts. Their hearts are prideful, right? And what are they saying? Get the quotation marks. What are they saying? The bricks are falling. So we got the bricks laying out because they're falling. All right, the bricks are falling, but we will rebuild with cut stone. Okay, all right. The sycamore fig tree have been chopped down. Okay, the wood's there, but we will replace them with cedars. We're gonna just take what's right and better, and not better, but what the Most High is asking for and acquiring for us to use to properly rebuild. We're going to use something else. You know, that strange fire we be putting up sometimes, right? Oh, that's just me. So the Most High has raised up risen foes against him and spurred on his enemies, Ephraim from the east and Philistine from the west. And what they're going to do? And they devour Israel with an open mouth, nice and hungry. Feed me, Seymour. Feed me, Seymour. Right. And think about the Most High. Check this out. Even after all this, his anger remains. His upraised hand still threatens. After we done had ourselves all devoured with an open mouth by the Philistines and the like, because of our bogusness, even after all this, his anger remains. His upraised hand still threatens. Yet the people do not turn to the one striking them. Listen to that. So he's striking you, devouring Israel with an open mouth through the Philistines. And even after all this, his anger remains. His upraised hand still threatens. You know what that's like, right? Like we talked about this before, like, you know, child is in the grocery store and they push in the car while mom trying to, like, you know what I'm saying, trying to like shop and throw the groceries in the car. You know how it is. You trying to go to the grocery store and then you trying to let the little kid push the car while you just get everything, get up out of there, right? And every time you look up, they hitting your foot with the cart. And what you do, sometimes, you know, you in a public place though, right? So you really don't want to hit your child. But what you will do is you will raise up your hand and threaten them. Like, boy, if you don't hit me with that cardigan, boy, I'm a, right. You raise your hand and you threaten them so they know. You ain't trying to hit them inside the store, but you raise up your hand because your anger remains. So your upraised hand is still threatening. This is what's happening with us. But even after that, what happens? Yet the people don't turn from the one that's striking them. They don't seek the Lord of the armies. The Lord of the armies. Therefore, Yah will cut off Israel's head and tail, tall palm prod and lowly reed in a single day. The old and the honor are the head, while the prophet's teaching lies are the tail. And those led by them are destroyed. All right, whoa, that's just, whoa, okay. All right. All right. Okay. So his anger is still there. He got his hand in the air, ready to pounce, right? And even after that, even while you look up and see his hand in the air, yet the people do not turn from the one striking them. They don't seek the Lord of the armies, the one that got the power to devour through your enemies. Therefore, the Most High will cut off Israel's head and tail, tall palm frond and lowly reed in a single day. What does all that mean? He'll tell you next. The old and the honor are the head. While prophets teaching lies are the tail. Make it a dragon, right? While the prophets teaching lies are the tail. It's that dragon stuff, right? For those leading this people, lead them astray. And those led by them are destroyed. This is, okay, we're going to keep everything right, you know what I'm saying? Because these things, there it is right there, 2 times. Thank you, Father. Your guides lead you astray. You remember this back in a previous episode. Let's run through this real quick. For Jerusalem is ruined. We are back in Isaiah chapter 3, right? All right. Come on, there it is. We are back in Isaiah chapter 3. For Jerusalem is ruined, and Judah has fallen, because their words and their deeds do what? Defy Yahweh, in open provocation of his glory. Their very look witnesses against them. Right? We know about that. When a person's look witnesses, their very look witnesses against them. You see an alcoholic walking, or drunk walking down the street, their very look and walk witnesses against them. I know what it is to be an alcoholic and a drug addict. And one look, hey, it's witnessing again. It's witnessing against me. And what happens? They parade their sin like Sodom. Sodom is still parading their sin today. Like, all this is the truth, right? Okay? They don't even try to hide it. All the worse for them. They bring evil on themselves, saying that it would go well with the righteous, that they would enjoy the fruit of their actions. But woe to the wicked. It would go badly with him. For what he has done will be done to him. I know about that. Dang, my people, children oppress them, and women are ruling over them. Like, it's real bad for you, brother, husband, leader, father, when your children oppress you and your woman ruling over you. Our people, his people, my people, your guides, what do they do? Lead you astray. And what do they do with the paths you should follow? They obliterate them. But what is but we gotta watch how he get to bid. I love this. Watch how he get to work. Can't you see him with his briefcase? Right. Can't you see him with his briefcase? You know what I'm saying? And his suit on, ready to go. The ultimate attorney. Right. But Yah rises to accuse. He stands to judge the people. The boss. Yah presents what he got, an indictment. And you don't want the indictment rolled down. It's all truth from there. You can't duck no indictment, right. He presents the indictment against who? The leaders and the officers of his people who do what? Who lead the other people astray and who obliterate the paths you should follow. So, once again, And even after all that, you saw me flip some pages, right? Even after all this, his anger remains. His upraised hand still threatens. Why? Why? Because the people do not turn to the one that's striking them. They do not seek the Most High. They do not seek the Lord of the army, the one with the power of the armies. Therefore, Yah will cut off Israel's head and tail, tall, prompt rod, and lowly reed in a single day. And who are the old and the honor are the tail, while the prophets teaching lies are the tail. And what are all these for those leading this people lead them astray? With this back in chapter 3. Why? Because even after chapter 3, we're in chapter 9. Even after all this, his anger remains. Why? Because they don't seek Yah. Who don't seek Yah? The honored, the head, the prophets, because they're lying. And the leaders are leading us astray. And we are destroyed because we are led by them. Therefore, Yah takes no joy in their young men, and have no compassion on their orphan and widows, for everyone is ungodly and does evil. Every mouth speaks foolishly. And what? Even after all this, his anger remains. His upraised hand still threatens. For wickedness burns like a fire, For wickedness burns like a fire. It devours briars and thorns, and it sets the forest ablaze. On the breast with clouds of smoke rolling upward. The anger of the Most High, the anger of the Lord of the armies is burning up the land. The people too are fuel for the fire. No one spares, even his brother. The one on the right grabs, but stays hungry. The one on the left eats, but is unfilled. Everyone devours his own arm's flesh. Manasseh devours Ephraim, and Ephraim and Manasseh, while together they oppose Judah. Look at the madness. And what? Even after all this, his anger remains. His upraised hand still threatens. Woe to those who enact unjust decrees and draft oppressive legislation. Listen to this, government. Woe to those who enact unjust decrees and draft oppressive legislation to deprive the impoverished of justice and rob my people's poor of their rights, looting the widows and preying on orphans. What will you do on the day of punishment when calamity comes from afar? To whom will you flee for help? Where will you leave your wealth? So as not to squat among the prisoners or fall among the slain? But the Most High say, even after all this, his anger remains. His upraised hand still threatens. Listen to this. Even after all this, his anger remains. His upraised hand still threatens. Even after all this, his anger remains. His upraised hand still threatens. Even after all this, his anger remains. His upraised hand still threatens. Even after all this, his anger remains. His upraised hand still threatens. He's so like it's supposed to sound tough, but like the fact that he keep laying it out, like he's still pissed, but his hands is up in the air and he's only threatening, lets you know he's actually showing you his grace and mercy. Like what do we say? Praise you, Abba, you are good, your grace, your mercy endures. And what is his grace and his mercy enduring all of this stuff that we're doing? It's so, right, all these things that we're doing, our wickedness, he's still threatening, but it's like his grace and his mercy in enduring this. After all this, he's in his upraised hand still threatens. His upraised hand still threatens. Oh, Asher, the rod, oppressing my anger. The club in their hands is my fury. I'm sending him against, like, listen to this. Now he's talking about Asher, an outside nation, right? Which is his tool to punish Israel. Like, I know what it's like. I know what being in sin and the Most High God using my enemy as a tool to exact justice against me because of my hypocriticalness against the Most High. That made him angry. So what did he do? He chose my enemy to be a rod for him. That's how the Most High shows us how pissed he be at our sin. He will use the people who don't even serve him as a tool against you. Mm-hmm. That you know he doubly pissed at you because you know better. Oh, Asher. Asher's not Israel. Oh, Asher, the rod of expressing my anger. He's the rod, the enemy, the outside nation. The outside nation is better than a hypocrite. Look at it. The outside nation that don't know God is better than the hypocritical one, because the hypocritical know him but don't obey him. Oh, Asher, the rod of expressing my anger, the club in their hands is my fury. I am sending him against a hypocritical nation, ordering him to march against the people who enrage me, to take the spoil and the plunder, to trample them down like mud in the streets. That is not what Asher intends. That is not what they think. Rather, they mean to destroy it, or to cut down nation after nation. For their king says, aren't all my commanders kings? Has Calno suffered like Carmel, Hamat like Apad, Shamir like Damascus, just as my hand reached the kingdoms of 9 gods with more images than in Jerusalem and Samaria? So won't I do to Jerusalem and her 9 gods what I did to Samaria and her 9 gods? Okay. So now, this is so beautiful. Like the Most High, like, oh my goodness, this is so full too, right? So what's happening here is like he correcting everybody. He's using Asher as a rod expressing his anger, right? But Asher is a wicked nation, period, right? They don't even got no commandments, right? And he gonna use them to take the spoil from Israel, to march against Israel, and to trample them down like mud in the streets. But this ain't what Asher intends, right? Asher want to do what? Asher want to come on through there, and he want to cut it down. All of it, right. And like he did the rest of these nations, he want to take Israel, like, so won't I to do to Jerusalem and her 9 gods. You did. Jerusalem ain't got no 9 gods, and what I did in her 9 gods. So this is what, and turn them into his. So this is what the king want to do. This is what their king says. And the Most High got something for that king too, because of what he finna, like, let's keep going. Therefore, this is what after the Most High has done everything he intends to do to Mount Zion and to Jerusalem, I will punish the king of Asher for boasting that come from his proud heart and from reveling in his arrogant looks. For he says, for with my own strong arm I have done this, with my wisdom, because I'm so clever. I erased the boundaries between the people. I plundered their stones, yet I plundered their stores for the future. As a mighty man, I subjugated the inhabitants. My hand found the riches of the people like a nest. And as one gathers abandoned eggs, I gathered the whole earth. Not one wing fluttered, not one beak open or let out a chirp. Like he think he bossing it up, right? But we understand that Asher for a little while was just a rod expressing the Most High's anger. But since in all of that, you thought you did all of that, you thought it was your own strong arm, he got something for you too. Right? And what does the Most High keep on going down? Should the axe glorify itself over the one who chops it? Right? Because he was the axe. Right? He was expressing the Most High's anger against Israel. But he like, hold on, you just the axe, homeboy. Should the axe glorify itself over the one who chops with it? Right? Should the saw magnify itself over the one who moves it? It's as if a stick could wave the hand that raised it up, or as if a wooden staff could lift up a person who is not made of wood. Therefore, the Lord of the army says, I will send leanness to his well-fed ones, and in place of his glory, a fire will be kindled that will burn and burn. The light of Israel will become a fire, and his Holy One a flame, burning and devouring his thorns and briars in a single day. The glory of his forest and of his fertile land will consume body and soul like an invalid wasting away. Who? This king. This axe that Yah used as a rod, as a rod of his anger, because his anger kept remaining, right. This king who kept on talking about everybody else, what he did to everybody else, he gonna do to Israel, and y'all gonna use him to do some stuff to Israel, but he only gonna use them for when he done what he intends, because Asher had another intention, right. So once the Most High do what he intend, he gonna go back to checking Asher. Because Asher was glorifying himself. He was just an axe. Stay humble. Wow, we're 20 minutes. We're going to keep pushing. Shalom. Shalom. Yes, Yahweh. Yes, Yahweh.